Let's go! First name Dragger, last name Tamer. I'll even sell for the best Dragon Tamer anywhere NA. But Pendulum best deck, Dragon best deck, Pendulum Dragon best deck. Let's get this started, boys. Starting off, we got our 3 Rescue Rabbit. He helps out bring out our 3 Normal Master and our 3 Normal Draco. He's basically one of your best play starters to go into your Dracoslayer Fusion and XEs to get everything going, bros. Now for the tuner, you got your boy Luster. Sadly, we can only have one Ignister, but that doesn't mean we can't go into other extra plays. That helps out with him. And you can't have the 3 Luster without his counterpart. Basically, these will be your main targets for the Draco face-off, which we can only have one, sadly. But it's free pluses in getting your scale or a free monster on the field. 3 best odd eyes can search out anything from the deck, on top of bringing back your monsters if you pop from the Pendulum Zone. Long story short, all your cards are dragons. This can search out your whole deck on top of its Pendulum Zone effect. You can pop it to grab a Dragon Fusion, Dragon Xyz, Dragon Synchro, so you can basically bring back any of your Dracoslayer monsters and continue their plays, because the Dracoslayer Fusion helps special summon out your Dracoslayers and from your graveyard and hand. And then you have Ignister, who summons one out from your deck, so he's one of your best cards for setting up plays and one of your best scales for Pendulum summoning. 2 of the regular odd eyes, because we need extra targets for our Sky Iris. And on top of that, we run the odd eyes package of Absolute, so that way we can bring out stuff like our Meteor Burst and our Vortex, so we can have the negates or just the extra summon on that. And you can see we have our Dark Dragon Worm package here to get our Zero Scare and our Dark Worms. Free summon when you send it off a Dragon Shrine and get all that in the graveyard. Really underrated Performa Pal. When on the field, it gives all your dragons 500 extra attack, and on top of that, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. This is a really underrated card, and if it's in the Pendulum Zone, you basically give your monsters a Catastor-like effect to where they'll banish the monster, or not really Catastor, more like a Twin Burst. Blue Eyes Twin Burst, where they banish the monster after damage calculation, which is pretty good. 1 Aether, because it's something that we can summon off the Hieratic Spheres for the bounce and the banish. Armageddon, it's just a good pendulum on top of bringing back anything you banish, because you'll see soon enough when I go into the extra deck, you'll banish a good amount of stuff, so it'll be good to bring him back for either a big beach stick or recover for plays. 3 Sky Iris. Use it out to search for your Revolution, your whole searcher of the deck, or your Monster Reborn for your extra deck monsters, on top of, having your stuff gain protection from being targeted and all that. 3 Duelist Alliance basically searches out any of our Dracoslayer monsters, because they all have Pendulum in the name on top of I's Pendulum monster. So it searches out if you're short on Playmakers. 2 Dragon Shrine, because we gotta have something to dump the Dark Worm into grave to get all those good stuff plays going. The 1 Draco face off, sadly, but it's still a free plus if you can have it. one Call by the Grave, because one Call by the Grave. On top of, I'm in the minority here of thinking Call by the Grave is still good at 1, because now you can, you know, add in extra extenders and stuff like that instead of having to worry about, oh, well, I have space for my 3 Call by the Graves, my 3 Ashes, my 3, you know, all that stuff that people worry about when having to deal with hand traps. 1, we can have really nice things, and I gotta tell you, this thing came out really nice in the maximum gold art. Terraforming to search out our sky irises, and then the 1 polymerization and dragon shrine, because we have the poly here in case we ever have odd eyes in hand with another pendulum monster going to vortex. And we have the dragon's mirror in here because you will be dumping a lot of your stuff into grave, so it does help to have the dragon's mirror so you can go into something like Zark, because the Dracoslayers, they're insane in bringing out all their extra deck monsters in 1 turn with a good hand. Extra deck, we have 2 spheres. Like I showed you before, you can get the bounce, summon the Aether, and then get a banish, so you have pretty decent disruption. Or you can use this to summon out Darkworm and search out for your gate if you're missing that for scales. 2 Magister helps bring out your monsters from the extra deck, on top of getting the search at the end phase when on a summon. Because you run a lot of dark pendulum monsters, this guy is actually pretty good with the non-targeting attack reduction to gain for himself. So he can run over stuff like dragoons and help with other stuff like that. So he's pretty good in case you need to run over something problematic. Here we have the Odd Eyes package of Absolute, Meteor Burst, and Vortex. The main play is you go into Absolute, you link them off, or you do something else with them to basically get the free summon of Meteor Burst to free up your scales, or the Vortex to get a bounce and negate on the field. Hence why we have like the 2 Odd Eyes in our deck. Ignister at 1. I was hoping he would go back to 3. I feel like he's a monster that would be fine going back to 3. And he's the sole reason why I made this deck in the first place. I thought he's one of the coolest cards around. But, you know, playing back then Pendulums didn't leave a good taste in my mouth with everyone just destroying their own stuff and 10 summoning 5. Two of the Fusion, because he helps bring out your Dracoslayers and your Dracoslayers are stuck in hand, or any engrave that you can't get back, so that way you can extend plays. On top of, he also protects your pendulum monsters and scales from being destroyed by card effects and battle. 1 Appaloosa, because it's Appaloosa. You know, you bring out a lot of monsters, you can get a 3-4 counter Appaloosa out there easy. And her arrows help out with the link summoning. Access code and Borload if you're just looking to end a game quick into either, you know, running into big monsters, or you have to clear a field and go for a big swing. And then the reason we run Dragon's Mirror, the 1 Zark, because he specifies 4 dragons as long as it's a Synchro, Pendulum, Xyz, and Fusion. So, you know, with you going into your Dracoslayer plays, you bring out all that easy in 1 turn. So if you have the Dragon's Mirror or the Poly in hand, when you do your play, you can also bring him out and basically have a bigger, scarier, well, not scarier, but he'll just be a bigger Dragoon since he can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects either. And on top of nuking your field. Well, that's Pendulum Best Deck. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and see you next time, guys.